No nigga hurt me worse than I already been hurt. I lost my mama, my daddy, my brother, my sister, my grandmother, my grandfather, my grandmothers on both sides, my partners. I'm already dead, nigga, inside. So this little funny shit that I chose music, I'm not tripping.
Birdman looks like he's slowly losing himself right in front of the world. Caught slipping on stage, nodding off mid-performance while cameras roll and the crowd watches in real time. He built one of hip-hop's biggest empires straight out the trenches. Turned Cash Money into a monster brand, only to watch that legacy start cracking under lawsuits, shady moves, and personal losses piling up one by one.
I was born in poverty. I was raised by junkies and in boys' home all my life. So I just thought maybe I'm just a chosen. Come out the boys' home, I went straight to the streets. Cause my pa, he got shot up and he went to jail for a murder. So right after that, the streets became my life. I chose that shit.
His fate isn't about death or disappearance. It's about watching his name, power, and image slowly erode in public, piece by piece, and that hits different. By 2025, a whole new wave of concern started swirling around Birdman, and this time it wasn't about money or beef. It was about his physical and mental state. Fans started saying the Og was looking rough, and the streets noticed fast. The Hot Boys reunion tour kicked off early 2025, bringing together Birdman, Lil Wayne, Juvenile, Turk, and BG for the first time since 2000.
My brother, Ronald Williams, my everything. My brother dropped out of school in the 7th grade. Super intelligent. Know how to make money, get money, and keep money. Can't no nigga hurt me worse than I already been hurt. I lost my mama, my daddy, my brother, my sister, my grandmother, my grandfather, my grandmothers on both sides, my partners. I'm already dead, nigga, inside. So this little funny shit that I chose music, I'm not tripping.
That was supposed to be a legendary moment for the culture, a victory lap for New Orleans rap. But instead of celebration, viral clips flipped the whole narrative. Footage showed the 56-year-old standing behind Turk, head suddenly dropping, going completely still for nearly 15 seconds like the lights were on but nobody was home. During the set, BG had to tap him just to snap him back. That clip went everywhere and social media exploded. Fans flooded the comments, saying he needed to put the cup down, clearly hinting at Leanne that codeine promethazine mix tied to Southern rap culture for decades.
20. Universal gave me $30 million. I thought I was dreaming, brother. Like, I couldn't believe that I had this much money. $2.5 billion with Universal, and they made $800 million off of me. Ain't none of these ever saw a B.
You kept the lights on over there pretty much.
Ain't no seen no B in this shit like I have.
Others said it might just be age catching up, pointing to industry vets like Irv Gotti and Fat Man Scoop, struggling around the same stage in life. The homies tried to play it cool though. Turk brushed it off, saying, "I don't know what be going on, man," laughing it up later on Drink Champs and acting like it was all jokes. But the laughter stopped when a second clip surfaced from an October 2025 Harlem event, showing Birdman nodding off again.
If you could take one thing back in your career that you did, you could just take it back, what would it be?
My situation with Wayne. That hurt me more than anything, because I love that. And I meant nothing but right. I thought I did right. I changed his life. I changed his mama's life. I changed everything about him. I said, let's put this shit behind us. How much you want? That can say 50, all right? You had that shit in the morning. And we did that, and that was over with. But
that's what's up.
He ain't even asked for 50. I gave him 50. On God, he ain't asked for 50.
That's when the internet really went wild, and the concern got loud. His camp blamed exhaustion and a brutal tour schedule, but speculation kept spinning nonstop. People whispered about relapse, seizures, health scares, anything you could imagine. Folks weren't even clowning anymore. They were genuinely worried about the big homie. All this was happening while his personal life was already shaky. Around the same time, whispers leaked about Toni Braxton, who secretly married Birdman in August 2024, only to file for divorce 2 weeks later. The filing got tossed in January 2025, meaning they were technically still married. But both wiped each other off social media, and Toni stopped wearing her ring.
I just wanted to have a clearing relationship with people that I started the business with.
Thanks.
Everybody that I started with, I'm in good space with them. Fresh know what I did. Now know what I did. Wayne know what I did. If not, you think they'll be fucking?
Yeah.
They fucking with me for a reason. Bro, I swear to God, I ain't know nothing about this publishing shit. I didn't know. And Fresh used to be like, cause Fresh was on before me.
Right.
And he was like, Stunner, bro, we got publishing money, bro. We supposed to be getting royalties.
Messi doesn't even cover it. Then in October 2025, Braxton finally spoke out about Cash Money's so-called death rituals, making it clear these weren't literal or supernatural. She described them as symbolic, pointing to a toxic system built on control and loyalty tests. Matching tattoos, forced unity, public displays, everybody calling Birdman daddy, luxury cars lined up, money counted on camera for clout. According to her, these rituals stripped artists of independence and identity. If you resisted, you were pushed out or erased. She painted Cash Money as a secret society where loyalty had to be proven before opportunity. And gifts weren't love, they were leverage. Not love at all. That was cult energy, plain and simple. And the deeper you look, the darker it gets.
I don't get my feelings in it, but I ain't never took from them. I always bless niggas.
But why niggas keep saying that? You know what I'm saying? Why niggas keep saying that shit, bro? Like everybody, producer, all these folks be like, man, nigga don't pay, bro.
Right, bro. I always looked at Wayne as my son, and I always looked at it like, because I was in the streets, and I thought this might be the last time they ever see me.
Damn.
Because I was living like that.
Right.
So I was like, that's what that shit really started from.
Toni Braxton made it clear she believed that same toxic atmosphere was poisoning Birdman himself, showing up publicly during those alarming 2025 on-stage moments. To her and insiders around them, those incidents weren't just exhaustion. They looked like possible lean relapses, or the negative energy of an empire turning inward and consuming its own creator. Braxton felt that being tied to Cash Money only made her own health battles heavier. She's been open about dealing with lupus and undergoing heart surgery, and she believed that stress, pressure, and chaos were pushing her body past its limits.
I'm ready to die about that and kill about it too. I out-accomplished every nigga that ever did the music business.
Yeah.
No nigga out-accomplished me. Not one nigga on planet Earth. I gave my life to the game, and I'm prepared. And I'm still prepared to die about this. But more important, I'm prepared to kill about this. Facts. On my mama, and she dead. I just was like, my daughter was kept like, Daddy, why he keep with you like that? She don't say fuck him, but why he keep? I had no idea because I don't listen to the Breakfast Club. I don't listen to the radio, period.
You think they were just doing their job or just with you?
Nah, I think he went a little too far with me. I just went there with one intention, just to say, brother, stop playing with me. You don't know me. And now watch how you do with other niggas. Give me the same respect.
For her, leaving wasn't about money or drama. It was about survival and protecting her sanity before things spiraled further. Birdman didn't take that lightly, though. He reportedly fired back, accusing her of being a gold digger chasing half of his alleged $160 million bag, and even claimed she pawned her $5 million engagement ring. That back and forth lit the internet on fire. The accusations split public opinion down the middle instantly. Some people defended Birdman, saying he was just moving like a boss, protecting what he built.
I think NBA Youngboy might be the biggest rapper. I said that 5 years ago.
What you mean big when you say big?
Ain't no gonna be bigger than NBA Youngboy. Numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
He the biggest YouTube artist right now in the world, and he behind the wall. Hey, Youngboy, bro, that shit ain't normal. Nah, he not normal. He's special. Big money right there, brother. I think he's a $1 billion nigga. I tell him that. I talk to him every day. He call me every day. Bro, he's a $1 billion in.
Others sided with Braxton, believing she was trying to escape a destructive system before it swallowed her whole. Then in December 2025, rumors popped up claiming Birdman was allegedly creeping with Braxton's sister, Tamar Braxton. That story got shut down fast. Tamar denied everything, saying she was the one who introduced Birdman to Toni in the first place, and still sees him around family, hinting that the marriage might not be completely dead after all.
ain't doing none of that. I'm done with it. I still get more money than rappers. No disrespect. You know, I make rappers.
Yeah.
And we get money together.
You think because you're a sophomore?
I'm a gangster.
Or a street nigga.
You say
I'm
what?
a gangster and I'm a sophomore. I ain't about to stop. All right, y'all capping, y'all playing, y'all don't get it, y'all won't play. You can't. I don't think none of these niggas can out hustle me. Not a nigga on planet Earth in music.
That's how you supposed to feel.
And I said this. I'm not just feeling like that. This facts.
The rituals, the health scares, the collapsed marriage, all of it painted a picture of a man whose empire was eating him alive from the inside out. When the energy you put into the world circles back, it doesn't ask permission, it just hits. To really understand how Birdman reached this point, you have to rewind the story all the way back to the mud where it started, before the money, before the power. Brian Christopher Brooks was born on February 15, 1969, in New Orleans, Louisiana, right in the Magnolia Projects. Poverty, survival, and street rules shaped his early life.
Can't no hurt me worse than I already been hurt. I lost my mama, my daddy, my brother, my sister, my grandmother, my grandfather, my grandmothers on both sides, my partners. I'm already dead inside. So this little funny shit that I chose music, I'm not tripping. No, nobody won't see nobody die anyway. So I ain't tripping, brother. But besides that, I ain't trying to do that shit, brother. I'm not trying to do it. I'm already damaged. I was born damaged.
He grew up with a massive family, surrounded by brothers and sisters, where struggle was normal and stability was rare. His mother, Gladys Brooks, held things together as best she could, and Birdman later praised Miss Gladys for giving him whatever structure existed in that chaos. But that stability was fragile. Birdman has never sugarcoated how rough his upbringing really was. By his early teens, he was already chasing money in the streets, not through music, but through hustling. Before adulthood, he and his stepbrother caught a serious drug case that landed him behind bars for 18 months, an experience that hardened him fast. In 1991, at just 22 years old, Birdman and his brother Ronald Slim Williams launched Cash Money Records. It was pure independent grind, focused on New Orleans bounce and street authenticity. They later assembled the Hot Boys, featuring juvenile B.G. Turk and a very young Lil Wayne, whose talent stood out early. By 1998, Cash Money locked in a massive $30 million deal with Universal Records. Songs and albums dominated the culture, and bling bling became a global catchphrase. But even as the money stacked up, tragedy struck again. In 1996, Birdman's father, Johnny Williams, died in a car accident, adding another loss to a life already heavy with pain. Birdman has admitted that all that loss shaped him, hardened him, and changed how he moved forever. Those scars never really healed. By his early 20s, Birdman went from handling bricks in the streets to staring at a $30 million deal from Universal Records. He said himself he couldn't even process if it was real or not. One minute it was survival mode, the next minute it was corporate offices, contracts, and checks with more zeros than he ever imagined. Cash Money didn't just survive the 2000s, it dominated them. Lil Wayne turned into a superstar through the Carter series, and the label stacked win after win by signing artists like Drake and Nicki Minaj. The money was flooding in nonstop, racks on racks, and Cash Money was printing hits like a factory. At its peak, Birdman's net worth was estimated around $160 million. And he's claimed that over his full run, he helped generate $2.5 billion with Universal. That kind of success doesn't come free, though. Birdman has admitted he didn't fully understand the business early on, and that lack of knowledge came back around hard. Those early mistakes didn't disappear. They grew into lawsuits, beefs, and public drama that would define the next era of his career. The come-up was official, but the downfall was already loading in the background. Cash Money earned a reputation as a hit-making machine, but also as a label accused of squeezing artists dry. The pattern became familiar. Artists would sign, blow up, then publicly accuse Birdman and Ronald Slim Williams of shady contracts. Delayed albums and pressure tactics meant to keep everyone in line. It was business on the surface, but tension underneath. The most painful fallout was with Lil Wayne, the artist Birdman raised from a kid and always called his son. In 2015, Wayne hit Birdman with a $51 million lawsuit, claiming unpaid advances and missing royalties. Wayne alleged that Birdman pocketed more than half of a $100 million Universal deal. That lawsuit cracked the image of family Birdman had always pushed. Wayne accused Birdman of working with Universal to keep profits away from him, and the case dragged on for years before finally settling in 2018. Birdman later admitted that whole situation was his biggest regret. He said he eventually pulled up to Wayne's crib and blessed him with even more than he originally asked for, trying to make things right. Wayne wasn't alone. Juvenile, BG, Manny Fresh, and others all raised similar complaints. They pointed to lopsided 80/20th splits, heavy recoupment, and royalties that never seemed to show up. If you stepped out of line, albums got shelved or careers stalled. Manny Fresh, the genius behind that signature Cash Money sound, eventually walked away over publishing disputes. Birdman has admitted he didn't fully understand publishing back then, but by the time he learned, the damage was already done. And to this day, those accusations still follow Birdman online, haunting his legacy, no matter how much money he made. People stay comparing Birdman to figures like Sean Diddy Combs and Suge Knight, pointing out similar patterns of control, loyalty tests, and cutting people off once their usefulness runs dry. When critics put Birdman on blast for allegedly not paying artists, he always clapped back hard, saying nobody's done more for the culture than him. Still, that reputation, as one of the most ruthless power players in rap, never really faded. Beyond lawsuits and money drama, there is a deeply uncomfortable conversation about how Birdman moved with Lil Wayne during Wayne's early years in the industry. An infamous early 2000s clip resurfaced showing Birdman kissing Wayne on the lips, something Birdman later explained as father-son type affection. At the time, it was brushed off by some, but years later it hit very differently, as fans started re-examining old moments with new eyes. Things got even heavier when Wayne himself spoke publicly about being exposed to adult environments at a very young age while under Birdman's guidance. Wayne described situations he says were inappropriate for a child, and critics have since framed those stories as examples of blurred boundaries and exploitation within the industry. While Birdman has denied any wrongdoing, those revelations cast a long shadow over their relationship and made people question how power was used behind the scenes. The finesse talk didn't stop with music either. In 2010, Birdman and Ronald Slim Williams launched an oil venture called Ronald Oil and Gas LLC. Birdman even got a pump jack tattoo to flex the move, but fans and researchers struggled to find proof that the company ever actually operated. Too many, it looked more like image building than real business, adding fuel to the narrative that perception mattered more than substance. Through all the backlash, Birdman stayed defiant. He's consistently claimed that his wins outweigh the drama, and that no executive in rap history has put on more people than him. In his mind, he's the ultimate plug, the one who changed lives and fed families, no matter how loud the criticism gets. But money issues were just the surface. Allegations involving violence and betrayal within Cash Money's orbit proved even more damaging to his legacy. When you move like a boss with street roots, those street consequences don't always stay outside the boardroom. Back in the late 90s, as Cash Money was rising fast, violence surrounded the label. Artist Yellowboy was killed in 1997 after a dispute, followed by the death of Kilo G in 1998. Over the years, rumors connected these tragedies to street retaliation narratives, though no charges were ever filed against Birdman and nothing was proven in court. Still, the whispers never stopped. The wildest allegations surfaced in April 2015, when Lil Wayne's tour bus was shot up in Atlanta after a show. Bullets hit the vehicle, but thankfully nobody was injured. Court documents from Cobb County, Georgia later charged Jimmy Winfrey, also known as Pee Wee Roscoe, on multiple counts. Investigators claimed phone records showed communication between Winfrey, Young Thug, and Birdman around the time of the incident. Prosecutors suggested the shooting was retaliation tied to Wayne's $51 million lawsuit against Cash Money. Birdman was named in court paperwork but was never charged and denied all involvement, calling the accusations straight cap. Winfrey ultimately received a 10-year sentence while Birdman walked free. The smoke didn't end there. Birdman's signing of Young Thug to Rich Gang reportedly sparked tension with Rich Homie Quan, escalating into serious Atlanta street conflicts. Allegations included shootings and retaliation tied to label politics, showing how fast music business beef could bleed into real-life consequences, and that's when it became clear. Birdman's story isn't just about money, hits, or contracts. It's about power, influence, and how the streets never fully let go, even when the suits come on. Some street reports went as far as claiming certain figures connected to Cash Money were tied to more than 50 violent incidents across the city between 2014 and 2016. According to those same reports, the streets were boiling during that period, and Cash Money's name kept popping up in conversations nobody wanted attached to their brand. None of it was ever proven in court against Birdman, but the rumors alone were enough to keep his name surrounded by smoke. In 2017, tragedy hit again when Birdman's artist Bty Youngan was killed in what many described as a suspicious situation. What really caught people's attention was what happened next. Birdman posted a memorial tribute, then wiped his entire Instagram clean right after. The move had fans asking questions fast. Why erase your whole timeline after your artist passes away? What was being hidden, or was it grief mixed with paranoia? Either way, the internet started connecting dots immediately. One of the most uncomfortable betrayals tied to Birdman didn't involve Slim, but his other brother, Terrence, Gangsta Williams. Terrence has been accused of being involved in serious criminal activity tied to New Orleans street politics, allegations that have followed him for decades. Reports claimed he was drawn into that world young and later received a life sentence connected to numerous violent acts. None of those accusations were ever placed directly on Birdman in court, but the family connection kept the narrative alive. In the early 2000s, Terrence was deeply entangled in that life, and years later, he cooperated with federal authorities to secure his release in 2024 after spending more than 2 decades behind bars. When he came home, Birdman publicly cut him off, saying cooperation violated the street code. Critics called the move ice cold. Terrence sat in a cell for over 20 years, partly tied to a world that overlapped with Birdman's rise, only to be left isolated the moment he chose freedom. Birdman has never been shy about where he stands on loyalty. He's repeatedly said in interviews that he moves however necessary to protect what he built. That mindset went viral in 2016 when he confronted Charlamagne the God at the Breakfast Club, walking straight into the studio and demanding, "Put some respect on my name," became one of the most iconic moments in hip-hop media history. That clip showed the world Birdman wasn't the type to let disrespect slide on or off camera. Later on, Birdman reflected on that moment, saying he had no regrets about standing his ground. To him, respect wasn't optional, it was survival. And when you stack that moment next to the allegations, the family fractures, and the whispers that never stop. It paints a picture of a man who built an empire using methods that went far beyond traditional business playbooks. Despite everything, Birdman hasn't folded. He's still active behind the scenes, mentoring artists and collecting steady income from his legendary catalog. The money never fully stopped flowing. Lately, he's been locked in with NBA YoungBoy, personally chaperoning him on tour, making sure he stays focused and keeps his career on track. Birdman has even predicted that YoungBoy will land a historic $300 million deal and become one of the biggest artists the game has ever seen. He says he sees the same once-in-a-generation spark in YoungBoy that he once saw in Lil Wayne and Young Thug. In his eyes, that raw talent just needs guidance, and he sees a reflection of himself in the young artist. But at the same time, Birdman has been hinting that he might be stepping back soon, slowly easing away from the front lines while his legacy continues to spark debate. He's talked openly about slowing down after wrapping his final projects with Lil Wayne, including a planned Father Like Son to album that would close the chapter properly. Birdman says he's done rapping himself, but he's always quick to remind people he still eats better than most rappers out here, and that his legacy money never stopped coming in. He's also admitted there are things he wishes he did differently. Birdman has said he regrets never going to college and missing out on the education he skipped while running the streets. He's reflected on how emotionally draining the public beef with Wayne really was, and how much personal growth slipped through his fingers while he was busy fighting wars on every front. His financial situation stays a constant debate online. Estimates place his current net worth anywhere between $100 million and $200 million, down from peaks around $150 to $200 million after lawsuits, foreclosures, and losses from bad investments. In 2017, Birdman caught a $12 million foreclosure lawsuit on his Miami Beach mansion, and that property eventually got taken. But by 2025, receipts started popping up that suggested a comeback was underway. Reports surfaced that Birdman bought a $42 million Miami mega mansion on a private peninsula, shutting down the narrative that he'd fallen off completely. On top of that, his catalog is still reportedly generating $20 to $40 million a year in passive income alone, meaning the money keeps printing whether he's active or not. Through all the chaos, Birdman stays defiant, believes the industry never gave him the flowers he deserved, and blames that on where he comes from and how he came up. In his mind, nobody has done more in the music business than him, and he holds on to that conviction no matter how loud the criticism gets. The tragic fate of Birdman isn't one single catastrophic moment. It's the slow accumulation of decades of lawsuits, allegations, broken loyalty, family betrayals, declining health, and public humiliation stacking up over time. He built one of the most powerful empires hip-hop has ever seen, putting on legends like Drake, Nicki Minaj, and Young Thug. But the methods allegedly used to build that empire left behind scorched relationships and permanent scars. Now, he stands in what feels like the final chapter of his run. His body looks worn on stage. His marriage collapsed almost instantly. His brother remains cut off. Former artists have gone public accusing him of playing them. And still, Birdman keeps pushing forward like nothing can stop him. Every day, he wakes up with money on his mind. He mentors the next generation and swears he's blessed more lives than anyone else in the industry. Maybe that's the most tragic part of all. A man with everything. A legendary catalog. Respect from those who matter. Yet someone who has described himself as already dead inside. Born damaged. Spending a lifetime trying to fill a void that success could never fix. The tragic fate of Birdman isn't death. It's living with everything he built, while being surrounded by the wreckage of how he built it. That's the real loss right there. Till next time, check out our other videos by clicking on the screen.